All right, today we're unpacking a small but seriously explosive book from 1909 called Hind Swaraj, written by Mahatma Gandhi. Now, this wasn't just some plan for Indian independence. No, it was a full-on attack against the whole idea of modern civilization. And right at its heart is a question that's more relevant than ever. What does it actually mean to be free?
You know, we all think of Gandhi as the guy who won India's freedom from the British. But that one sentence, that right there shows you his real goal was something way deeper and honestly a lot harder than just switching out one group of rulers for another.
So what on earth did he mean by ruling ourselves? And how is it possible that this idea, from over a century ago, might just be the thing we need to hear most right now? Okay, let's get into it. To really get what Gandhi was talking about, you have to understand that his main target wasn't just the British Empire. It was the entire modern world's definition of freedom. He was convinced we had it all wrong. So his big idea is this word Swaraj. It literally translates to self-rule. But for him, it operated on two totally different levels. First, you've got the political level, kicking out foreign rulers. Simple enough. But the second level, the one he said was the real deal, was moral and spiritual. It meant mastering yourself.
And this is where it gets really interesting. For Gandhi, if you just replaced British leaders with Indian leaders but kept all the same systems, the same courts, the same factories, the same politics, that's not freedom. That's just a change of management. True Swaraj, true freedom, had to start inside each and every person, with self-control.
So why was he so passionate about this? Well, because during his time living in the West, he came to a pretty radical conclusion. He saw modern Western civilization not as progress, but as a kind of sickness, a disease that traps the human spirit.
And he did not pull any punches. I mean, wow. He used these incredibly intense words because he saw modern politics as totally empty, just a machine driven by selfish interests without any kind of real moral compass. He thought these institutions were designed to corrupt people.
You can see here, he's basically taking a sledgehammer to the very foundations of our world. He's saying industrialism is just exploitation, that our consumer culture is a trap that creates desires we can never satisfy, that the whole thing is built on a shallow materialism that leaves us spiritually starving.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? He's pointing out this massive irony. All this chasing after comfort and convenience, he argued, doesn't actually make us happier. It just creates a new kind of slavery. We become slaves to our stuff, to technology, and to a system that promises the world but leaves us feeling empty.
Okay, so if modernity is the disease, what's the cure? Well, Gandhi didn't just criticize. He offered a completely different path forward, a whole blueprint for a society built on moral character instead of material things.
His method, his weapon, wasn't a gun or a bomb. It was something he called satyagraha, which you can translate as truth force or soul force. It's the complete opposite of fighting violence with violence. The idea is to use a moral weapon, to awaken the conscience of your oppressor by showing your willingness to suffer for the truth.
And his economy? He basically threw the whole industrial model out the window. He hated factories, calling them a great sin. Instead, he pictured a world of small, self-sufficient villages where people did meaningful work with their hands, preserving their dignity and living in harmony.
And here's the glue that holds it all together. For Gandhi, you absolutely could not separate politics from morality. Religion to him wasn't just about going to a temple, it was the very source code for ethics. He believed any political system that wasn't grounded in a deep moral duty to other people was doomed to fail.
This table is a fantastic summary. Just look at it. You can see how that central idea of Swaraj, that true moral self-rule, is the foundation for everything else. Freedom is internal, the economy is local, the government has very little power. It's a completely interconnected vision that all starts from within.
So here we are, over 100 years later. What do we do with this? Because when you look at his vision today, it feels like two things at once. Incredibly idealistic, almost naive, and at the same time, scarily accurate.
Now, let's be real. His ideas have been hit with some very strong, very fair criticisms. People have called it a romantic fantasy. I mean, is it really practical to turn our backs on science and technology? Is going back to village life the answer, or is it a huge step backward?
But then you look at the other side of the coin, and, well, so many of his warnings sound like they were written yesterday.
His critique of exploiting nature for profit sounds a lot like an early warning about climate change. His demand for ethics in politics feels more urgent than ever. His ideas are inspiring the local sustainable movements we see all around us today.
And in the end, this is really the core of it. For Gandhi, real freedom isn't something handed down by a government or a leader. It's a power that has to be built inside every single one of us. It's the inner strength to see when something is wrong and the courage to resist it.
So that leaves us with the big question for our time, for right now. In a world that's dealing with environmental crisis, with political chaos, with so many people feeling lost, was Gandhi just an idealist dreaming of an impossible past? Or was he a prophet who saw our future and the way out more clearly than anyone?